always a pleasure to be here. And welcome.
Yes.
What I would like to talk to you today is about Principle 1 and 2, which is we believe in infinite intelligence, and we believe that the phenomena of nature, both physical and spiritual, are the expression of infinite intelligence. And that also ties in with number 7, which is we affirm the moral responsibility of the individual, that he makes his own happiness or unhappiness as he obeys or disobeys nature's physical and spiritual laws. So we all want to be happy, right?
Oh, yeah.
That is our birthright. Okay, so spiritualism's principles are the religion, philosophy, and science of what I call common sense. And nature's physical laws, we can look at as we obey those. One of those would be the law of gravity. So when we make our own happiness or unhappiness, then what comes to mind is the Fool's card, which is number 0 in the tarot deck. And we see the person with his knapsack on his back shoulder, and he's going and almost walking off the cliff. Right? So when we look at that, we all have to know what our spiritual purpose is and where we're going. We have to be led divinely by infinite intelligence. So when we see this card, if you don't know where you're going, you might walk over that cliff, and the law of gravity may have its consequences. But when we look at this card, we also see that the dog is right behind this person, who we would call the fool, and trying to get at his back leg and pull him back. All right? Dog is important in this card. Dog is God spelled backwards. So when we look at that, it's that if we believe in God, if we believe in our guides and have that faith that we know where we're going, and it is important for us to know where we're going spiritually. Everybody has to follow their passion, right? And their passion is what makes them happiness. So if we follow our happiness by obeying nature's physical and spiritual laws, then we can make a difference in the world. All right? You just have to believe in yourself. Believe in your higher self, and all your guides and infinite intelligence will be there right with you. So the spiritual laws, are what we commonly refer to as natural laws, make our own happiness. So one of the natural laws that I follow is the law of silence. And it's very important to use the law of silence. And in one aspect would be using the law of silence during arguments. So when we are stepping into a situation, we have to become the observer. So the only difference between observation and judgment is that judgment has the attachment of being right associated with it. But if we're stepping into an argument, then we have to be the observer and use the law of silence to sit back, take a moment of pause, and then act or resist. Very important to use the law of silence doing that. And to step back. It is a lesson I have learned the hard way. All right, and then the second one we want to use the law of silence is gossiping. So gossiping is an energy that is half fact and half truths. So we have to look at, before we gossip, we have to look at the individual that we're speaking about and walk in their shoes. It's very hard to walk in somebody's shoes if you don't know where you're going or where they're going, where they have been. Now, there's a band called Deep Purple, and one of their guitarists is Richie Blackmore. And some people would say that there's no Deep Purple without Richie Blackmore. And so when Steve Morris replaced him in a press conference, he was asked, how does it feel to step into Richie Blackmore's shoes? And his response was, when Richie Blackmore left the band, he took his shoes with him. Right? So unless you're in that other person's shoes, then we really don't know what emotional or mental aspect they're going through. And they could just have a bad day. That doesn't make them a bad person forever. So we have to be careful about gossiping. And then the third one, about to use the law of silence, is don't interrupt a person when they're talking, right? I'm the biggest, offender of that one as well. So, and it is important to develop our listening skills. All right, you have to remember, listen and silent have the same letters, just rewritten a little bit. So, and there was a time when my daughter was sitting down for dinner when she was in high school. And she was explaining her day. And then I interrupted her and just brought out this random fact that meant nothing to what she was talking about. She looked at me, picked up her dinner, and went to her room and finished it. And I asked my wife, what happened? She goes, you interrupted her. So I'm still working on this. So, but these are lessons where maybe you should use the law of silence and, step back, listen, and respect what people have to say. So another one that we use the law of silence, which is important, is meditation. And meditation is important for our spiritual growth and for our connection with infinite intelligence and the Godhead. It's that will change your life if you can find 5 to 10 minutes of meditation in the morning and at night. Very important to use the law of silence there. And when we use the law of silence in meditation, then by all means, it doesn't have to be totally silent. Well, we can use the singing bowls or the chimes during meditation, because with the harmony and the frequencies of the universe, all that music comes in and it actually heals us. So we have to look at the harmony and frequencies of the universe as well to bring in our happiness. Now, what I want to talk about now is the four gates. And the four gates is an ancient Sufi tradition, and the Sufis were ancient Islamic sect. And what they said was, when you speak, let your words pass through four gates. The first gate, is it kind? The second gate, is it true? The third gate, is it necessary? And the fourth gate, does it improve upon the silence? In other words, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say it at all. That's my mother standing next to me. So. All right, so I work in a spiritualist camp in Florida, and there is a lot of people who approach me for my own opinions. And I have to look back and look at the law of silence, but also these four gates as well. They'll ask me opinion based on the board members or the committees, and I will usually respond that, well, they're doing the best job that they can. And is it kind? Yes. Is it true? Maybe borderline. Okay. You know, but, and then the person, for their ulterior motive, is going to start going into gossiping. Right there, I'm pushing back. And I will just say, that's, you know, a battle that I'm not going to take on. So, is that necessary? Probably. Okay. So, Lord, I could have just stood there, smiled, and walked away. And that would have been, does it improve upon the silence? It probably would have. So, okay, so that's that. Another natural law that I work with is the law of reciprocity, which is the law of karma. What comes around goes around. So this one is enhanced by the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So we all have to be kind to people. And that is something that in the emotional aura of the world at this time needs improvement. We need to be kind. We can show that in many ways. Just a smile will bring some improvement to a lot of people. Just using the ancient law of chivalry by opening doors or helping people carry their groceries will improve a lot of people. But with karma, what goes around comes around. If you send out kindness, you will receive kindness. It works in hand with what I would call the law of attraction. All right? Positive attracts positive, negative attracts negative. And if we want to look at it with the principles, then happiness attracts happiness, and unhappiness attracts unhappiness. So we all want to be happy here. So we have to claim that as our birthright. But getting back to the law of karma, the one thing that works with that is the law of forgiveness. Nobody should have any unforgiveness in their heart. If we have any hate, resentment, jealousy, all these type of vibrations, we have to let them go. If we hold on to that in our heart, we are going to bring on emotional and physical distress. So with the law of forgiveness, we can send that out with our mind's eye or with our thoughts. Our thoughts are the most powerful thing that we have. And when we send out those thoughts of forgiveness, then we release it from ourselves. I mean, my middle name is Earl, all right? I don't have to be, my name is Earl guy, and go back and release his karma by going to their doorstep from something that happened 20 years ago. All right? So with our thoughts they are very effective. You don't have to see the person to forgive them and reclaim some of that pain. But what we want to do is have a pure heart. And when we release the forgiveness, then we bring in that happiness, we claim that happiness, we claim our birthright to be happy. And that's what we want to do here, is be happy, all right? And later on, if you want to, sign up for my cruise to Jamaica, we can really be happy. All right? Okay. All right, so with the natural laws, both physical and the spiritual laws, we have to pay attention. The physical laws, we have to pay attention to not only gravity, but to all of nature that's out there. I mean, when we step outside, there's lots of things happening. We get the rays from the golden sun that affect us physically. We hear the birds, the animals scurrying. It's all of nature is part of us. And as the Native Americans and their connection to the natural world, as we would say it, we're very connected spiritually with nature. And that is something that we all need to do. Get outside and listen. I thank you for listening today, and be happy.